Well, students, we're going to start making these tiki mugs today. Today's really just making the cylinder shape for the mug and making the base for it. You're going to have a few things at your table. This white poster board, you might have something similar to it. It might not be exactly like this, but it's so that the clay doesn't get stuck to the table. And you're going to have another piece. It probably will resemble this. This is going to measure the rectangle shape so you know that it's big enough. So first, I'm going to set this on here. You're going to see that this is already just about the same width as this. So I'm going to set this down. You're going to take this rolling pin and I'm going to roll this, and I'm going to try as I roll it to just press down on it. I'm standing up as I do it, and I'm going to roll this out. Now I want to make sure that it stays about the same thickness. So as I go, I don't want to do too much. So I'll keep measuring it to this because that's how long I want it to turn out to be. So roll this end a little bit, roll this out. And sometimes I find it helpful every once in a while as I roll this to take it and to pick it up. If you pick it up, you can flip it here. I used the wrong side, I should use the paper side. So I flipped the clay over, and I'm going to roll it a little bit this way too. So my clay was getting stuck to the other side because I was using the glossy side. If you use the paper side, it works better. Now I'll measure this out. Looks like it's getting close. So use your muscles. You gotta kind of roll it from one end to the other so that you don't have one part that's thinner than another part. Measure it, it's getting really close. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna peel it off again, and I'm gonna flip it over, and I bet this will make it just long enough. I don't want to roll off the end because then it's gonna smush that end on there too. So here, really close, just about perfect. So now that I have it the right length, I need to cut it and trim it so that it'll be a rectangle. So we'll take that, it's long enough now. I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna put it on top. With this on top, you're gonna have a paper clip. And with this paper clip, it's bent like this for a reason. You're gonna take this and you're gonna trace the rectangle. And I pressed it all the way through, so this piece will just come right off. Then, if you need to, if you turn it, sometimes that is helpful with cutting it so it's all kind of the same. So I'm going to trim that, pull this piece off, turn it. Once I have it cut, then I'm going to make a cylinder out of this rectangle. So I want you to see which way it goes. So this way is the long way. That's the way I want it to go. I don't want to turn it the tall way. So keep it the long way. And then I'm going to take my stick tool and I'm gonna, if you need to, sometimes just like peeling the edge so it comes off. So pick it up and then I'm gonna set it back on here and I'm gonna tip it up like this. This is gonna make it so then I can hold it in this hand and I'm gonna score this side, making a rough texture, and I'm gonna score this side, just crossing those, kind of making an X. Then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, hold it, cross it. Now I need to make some slip to attach them. So I'm gonna take this and I'll put a water cup at your table. You're gonna have this water cup and I'm going to put water, I'm just gonna kind of drip it into here. I don't wanna smooth out my score marks. And then I'm gonna take this and I'll tip this side up too. Now I have to put these together And usually going like this, if I take it and I put my fingers on the inside and my thumbs on the outside like this, I can put these together kind of like a zipper on a coat. So get that top started, and then I'm gonna start pushing these together to get the score marks to go together. At this point, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna hold it in my hand. And I'm making it, you can see it's round now. So I'm gonna hold it in my hand, keep it round, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take a stick tool and I'm gonna start kind of rolling this together just a little bit to help those start gripping together. So I'm kind of rolling it back and forth. That's gonna help those edges start to bond and grip together. Then I wanna do that on the top too. And I want to do that on the bottom. I'm going to do that on the inside too in just a moment. So now that I have that done, I'll usually turn it around and I'm going to cross over it. So I'm going to go the other way too. Once I have that rolled together, I'm going to smooth it with my finger. But the thing I want to be careful about is not smushing it. Because if I pinch this, that could make the whole thing come apart. So here I'm gonna just smooth that out. I'm gonna do more smoothing later, but I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna check the inside too. So if there's a bump, sometimes it works best to kind of roll over that, smooth that out. Now, I'm gonna take this and I'm going to smooth the inside too. So you can see here on the inside, that line is gonna get smoothed out as well. So I'm gonna use my finger, and sometimes I find the stick to be helpful to kind of roll in there too. Kind of rolling that in, getting that to join together. Gonna do that over here too. And sometimes I'll see if I can have you get a popsicle stick too. Sometimes this works good to kind of smooth it in there with a popsicle stick too. And I'm always trying to keep it round. Okay. I definitely need to be doing more smoothing. In order to speed this example up, I'm gonna move things along. So here, on occasion, if you take it and you just give it a couple rolls, not too much because it will make it all wrinkly on the inside, the smoothness of the table can sometimes smooth this out. And just kind of work your way around, make sure that's smooth. But you can see I only rolled it. I probably went 1, 2, 3. That would be about it, because otherwise it will make it get smushed and it'll get all wrinkly and bumpy on the inside. So here, we're gonna call that good. And then you're gonna take this extra clay and we're gonna make the base for it. So I have all this left over that I put to the side. So some of it, it's better to have a little extra than not enough. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put some water on it. I'm gonna push this all together and I'm gonna roll it into a ball. Once I roll this out, I'm gonna lay this down so I don't knock it over. Once I roll this into a ball, then I'm gonna patty cake it out and flatten it to make a base. So I'm gonna press this and I'm just gonna patty cake this out. I kind of want to check to make sure it's about the thickness of my cylinder. So here you can see I'm kind of measuring it. It's about the same thickness. It's big enough that it will fit on there. So what I'm going to do is kind of smooth that out. If I take this, I'm going to find the side that, this side probably looks nicer. So I'm going to have that be the top. This will be the bottom. And I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put a little bit of water on it, and I'm just gonna stamp it on here so I know where my score marks are gonna go. So if I just stamp that, I can see a line. I'm gonna lay this down. And I'm gonna take this stick and I'm gonna make my rough score marks on here. Then I'm gonna take it where I had this and I'm gonna do my score marks here. Cross those up. Once I have those score mark's done, make your slip again, put your slip on here, and then we're gonna put these two together. With this, I'm pressing it down here. I am gonna use my stick tool. I'm gonna put this back on here. So I'm gonna set this down, and I'm gonna use my stick tool to kind of press this together. So I'm holding it like this so you can see it, but you probably will be able to just keep it down like this. Just kind of press that down, get those pieces to fit together. If you need to, just turn it. And then once you have it all kind of rolled together like this, if you do a little bit of smoothing, and then I'm gonna take my paper clip and I'm gonna cut the extra off. So here, the reason it's extra big is so that I can take this and then just take my paper clip and cut around the outside. So here, I cut that. You turn it a little bit, cut it, turn it a little bit, and cut it. Once you get back to the beginning, it should be about the same size as your mug. You can always just kind of smooth it out a little bit too. So here, almost done. I'm gonna cut a little edge there so I can take this and this should come off. That's what we're trying to have done today. We can always do a little more smoothing next time, but once I have that done, I usually just kind of smooth this remaining part. I don't need a lot of water because the clay is already pretty wet. So here, I'm just gonna smooth that in. Working my way around. And then for cleanup, so we'll do some more smoothing before we put the face on our tiki mug next time, but that's about where we're gonna stay for today. I'll do some more smoothing later. For cleanup, I would like you to bring up, I'm gonna give you a paper to have a name tag, and then I would like you to take this extra, we're gonna save this. So the extra, you can just put a little bit of water on it first, then just gently put it with your mug. You don't want to stuff it in here because if it goes too far in like that, then it's gonna be hard to get it out. So here, probably should do a better job to make sure it doesn't fall in, kind of just flatten it out a little bit. So then it might rest on top so it doesn't fall inside and make it hard to get out. And you'll bring me your clay and name tag, and I'll tell you where to put the tools and we'll get our hands rinsed. So let's have fun working on these.